Lillahi ta'ala. I ask Allah to make this easy for me and for you. And I ask Allah to protect us from mistakes and misunderstandings. Let's continue in the tafsir of Surat Al-An'am. Al-An'am means the livestock. What are the livestock? The livestock here, like you know from learning the chapter of Zakat, the livestock refers to the camels, the cows, and the sheep and goats. That talk will come though. Why this surah is called Al-An'am, Suratul An'am, we didn't get there yet. We made it to ayat 43, but let's just back up to ayat 42 just for the flow, inshallah. And so the author says, starting with the word of God Almighty, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ولقد أرسلنا إلى من قبلك. We swear, we have dispatched to nations before you, O Muhammad. ولقد. So this wow, that's the wow for swearing. That's the same wow you say if you say Wallahi. And then this lamb is responding to the swear. Yani, that's where the answer, that's where what you're swearing, what's being sworn about starts. That's where what's being sworn about starts. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا. We have dispatched. أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلًا. Messengers. إِلَى أُمَمٍ إِلَى أُمَمٍ مِّن قَبْلِكَ. To nations before you, O Muhammad. Yani, you are a messenger like them. فَأَخَذْنَاهُمْ بِالْبَأْسَاءِ وَالضَّرَّاءِ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَضَرَّعُونَ. And we have afflicted them with disaster and hardship, so that they would beseech and believe. And I mentioned for you, there's two types of punishments. Anyone remember what they are? The two types of punishments from Allah Ta'ala in the dunya, that is. Two types of worldly punishments from Allah Ta'ala. I mean what I mentioned to you. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There's Adhabul Rujur, the punishment or the torture for retraction. Retraction. And Adhabul Isti'sal, the punishment of extermination. That's when Allah wipes them out completely. فَهَلْ تَرَى لَهُم مِّن بَاقِيَةٍ. Do you see any more of them left? That was about the people of Ad. Allah exterminated them. But other people, Allah didn't exterminate them. Rather, He gave them calamities so that they would retract the blasphemy. Like in the story of Moses, the signs of Moses, the flood, the lice, the locusts, the frogs, the river of blood, etc. The diseased fruits. فلولا إذ جاءهم بأسنا تضرعوا. Had only when our devastation, meaning our punishment, came to them, they beseeched. Had only they prayed to God when the calamity befell them and begged God when the disaster befell them. Meaning they didn't do it. وَلَكِنْ قَسَتْ قُلُوبُهُمْ. However, or rather, their hearts hardened and did not soften for belief. وَزَيَّنَ لَهُمُ الشَّيْطَانُ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. and the devil beautified for them what they used to do of sins. So they insisted on them. فلما نسوا ما ذكروا به فتحنا عليهم أبواب كل شيء. So when they forgot, that is, when they abandoned and neglected that by which they were reminded, when they forgot the famine and the poverty, that was a reminder for them. فتحنا عليهم أبواب فتحنا عليهم أبواب كل شيء. Then we opened for them the doors of everything. Allah opened for them the doors of all the sorts of luxuries and pleasantries, such as health, wealth, and other benefits. That makes me think of America in particular and the West in general, Western societies. And they think they are superior for all of the endowments that Allah gave them. All these machines, they do everything what the machines can't do. You know, you have calculators, so you don't have to count. Your phone stores all your phone numbers. When I was a kid, I don't know how many phone numbers I used to memorize. Now, maybe I memorized 3 phone numbers, yeah, including my own. And like that, subhanallah, Allah Ta'ala, for these people, for these societies, فتح عليهم أبواب كل شيء. He opened the doors of everything for them. حتى إذا فرحوا بما أوتوا, until when they were vainly pleased with that, with what they were given, until they were vainly pleased with what they were given. أخذناهم بغتة فإذا هم مبلسون. Then we overtook them suddenly. Yani, our sudden disaster overtook them. And behold, their heads are low with gloom from hopelessness and remorse. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. May Allah protect us. May Allah Ta'ala make us amongst those who are thankful in good times and patient in hard times. May Allah make us amongst those who remember the hard times and remember the Muslims who are in hard times when we are in easy times. And may Allah make us thankful for what we have. Ameen. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. فقطع دابر القوم الذين ظلموا فقطع دابر القوم الذين ظلموا. So, even the last of the unjust people were cut off. They were exterminated. وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And the praise is to Allah for supporting the messengers and destroying the blasphemers. Lord of the worlds. Allah, Lord of the worlds. So, yeah, mashallah, the Quran is very strongly against the kuffar. It doesn't hold, as qad yuqal, doesn't hold any punches. It doesn't pull any punches. And the Quran is very serious. وَمَا هُوَ بِالْهَزْلِ. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. قُلْ أَرَأَيْتُمْ إِنْ أَخَذَ اللَّهُ سَمْعَكُمْ وَأَبْصَارَكُمْ. Say to the Meccans, O Muhammad, this is according to Jalalain, how about if Allah took away your hearing and vision? وَخَتَمَ عَلَى قُلُوبِكُمْ, and He sealed your hearts. What if Allah took away your hearing and your vision and sealed your hearts? Subhanallah, then what you going to be? Going to be like a vegetable, as they say. This is just sitting there. من إله غير الله يأتيكم به. What God other than Allah? What God other than Allah restores that for you? Allah commands His Prophet to tell the blasphemers to consider if Allah were to blind and deafen them and to withdraw the intelligence from their hearts and then leave them without the ability to discern. Who would be a God able to restore what was taken and sealed? No one other than Allah Ta'ala. انظر كيف نصرف الآيات ثم هم يصدفون. Look, oh how we diversify, yani clarify the signs, the proofs of God's oneness. Then they dare turn away and not believe. قل أرأيتكم إن أتاكم عذاب الله بغتة أو جهرة. Say, O Muhammad, tell me, if the torture of Allah came to you suddenly or openly, would هل يهلك إلا القوم الظالمون? Would other than the unjust, disbelieving folk be destroyed as a punishment? وما نرسل المرسلين إلا مبشرين ومنذرين. And we do not send the messengers, but as givers of glad tidings of paradise for who believed. They give the glad tidings, the good news to the obedient. وَمُنذِرِينَ, and as warners from hell. And they warn you from hell or warn you about hell for whoever disbelieved. And for the disobedient. The prophets and messengers are bearers of glad tidings and warners. That means they come with good news and they come with warning. They come with good news for the obedient, and they come with warning for the disobedient. Never forget, Allah is not obligated to warn His slaves, but He warned them. They are under threat. We are all under threat. فَمَنْ آمَنَ وَأَصْلَحَ فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. So whoever believed and rectified, the meaning of rectifying here is remaining steadfast on the faith. Didn't put here who said that. Is that Nasafi or is that Jalalain? Inshallah, I'll take a look. فَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Then they shall have no fear, nor shall they grieve in the afterlife. This means they are forgiven. Those who believed and rectified. Man amana wa aslah. The ayah is describing man amana wa aslah, who believed and rectified. They shall not fear, nor shall they grieve in the afterlife. They will be forgiven. Yani, what you going to do? And I remind myself too. You are going to make the decision to be a good, obedient Muslim before you die. Yani, now, starting now, and to stay like that until you die. and to fix your situation. Anything you've missed, you missed prayers, make them up. You missed fasting, make them up. You owe money, pay it. You owe apologies, apologize. Fix all your situation so you can die with clean slate. Then, لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. Those, they shall fear not, nor shall they grieve in the afterlife. Does this mean they became awliya, amana wa aslah? I don't know. But ألا إن أولياء الله لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون. In other ayahs, the saints of Allah, they shall have no fear nor shall they grieve. These ones are saints. Man amana wa aslah, those who believed and rectified or fixed. I don't know. والذين كذبوا بآياتنا يمسهم العذاب بما كانوا يفسقون. And those who believe and those who belied our signs. وَالَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا. And those who belied our signs. كَذَّبُوا means to deem as a lie. آيَاتِنَا, our signs. So what's the signs? Sometimes signs refers to the verses of the Quran. Or in some ayat, they might even, the ayat here, ayat, that's being translated as sign. What's the ayat? Sometimes the ayat refers to the verses of the Quran. And in some ayahs in the Quran, the ayat refer to the ayat of the Torah. The Torah had ayat, also verses. And sometimes the ayat refers to other signs, such as miracles of prophets. And also the ayat could refer to other signs, like the amazing creations of Allah Ta'ala. وَالَّذِينَ كَذَّبُوا بِآيَاتِنَا يَمَسُّهُمُ الْعَذَابُ بِمَا كَانُوا يَفْسُقُونَ. And those who belied our signs, the torture shall touch them for what vice they were committing, the fisq, the major sin that they were committing. قُلْ لَا أَقُولُ لَكُمْ عِنْدِي خَزَائِنُ اللَّهِ. Say, Muhammad, I do not say to you that I possess the vaults of Allah. Yani, I do not claim anything far-fetched, such as that I can bring the rain or make the plants grow. I do not possess the vaults of Allah. وَلَا أَعْلَمُ الْغَيْبِ. Nor do I know the unseen, meaning all of it. Nor do I know the unseen. Yani, I do not know all of the unseen. Yes, that's the meaning here. It does not mean that the Prophet doesn't know any of the unseen, because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he has prophecies. He tells about future events, and Allah reveals to him other things besides future events, like who said something or where something is. So he knows some of the unseen, and other prophets, they know some of the unseen, and angels, they know some of the unseen, and saints, they know some of the unseen. And out of all of those, the saints, the human saints, could be mistaken in what they reckon is such a matter. Like that something happened or that something will happen. Allah makes the awliya know something like that sometimes, but other times they could be wrong. They're not impeccable in this issue of premonition. Saints, the premonition of a saint is not impeccable. So a statement like this, some person would bring it to tell you that the Prophet doesn't know any of the unseen. Because says, I don't know the unseen. La a'lamul ghayb. So what's meant by al-ghayb here, the unseen, is all of the unseen. يعني الغيب جملة, the unseen generally, broadly. The Prophet does not know that. He does not know that. And didn't we see in this surah, we saw some instances of relative firstness. Here's an instance right here of a, a broad generality. A generality that actually has exclusion in it, though. I do not say, Muhammad, I do not know the unseen. But if we were to say, but Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alayka wa ala alika wa sallam, do you know some of the unseen? Then he would say, yes, some of the unseen, whatever my Lord reveals to me. So then that's broad statement there to say he doesn't know the unseen. And like that, is there some other broad statements we know? Yeah, like, for example, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "La tasubbu ashabi," do not insult my companions. Not all of the companions are included in this hadith. For several pieces of evidence, not because I'm only claiming so, for several pieces of evidence, amongst which is that when the Prophet said this, he was talking to his companions in the first place. So that means the ones he was talking to who are not even included in the ones he was talking about. When he said, do not insult my companions, there's many, many instances of this. Now, I'm just want to bring one or two or three just so that your mind can register that. Just like now, the issue of relative firstness, I think, is clear for you. Easy now to understand other things. Some broad statements, too, you need to be able to understand them well. When the scholar said, the companions are not mentioned but with goodness, Al-Tahawi said, the companions are only mentioned with goodness, and An-Nasafi and other scholars, too. Companions are only mentioned with goodness. Yes. That's a broad statement, though. And there's room for exclusion there. And not because I have a deviated creed here, because of evidence. There's evidence for that. Evidence from the hadiths of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Evidence from the statements of other companions. Evidence from the statements of some of the tabi'un concerning some of the companions. There is a place and a way for mentioning a companion in less than the best light without degrading all the companions. Now, this is not to turn into a lesson about the companions. This is, right now, I'm talking about an issue of broad statements that have room for exclusion. And there's others. Maybe if we see more, we'll add them to our list. So, وَلَا أَعْلَمُ الْغَيْبِ. O Muhammad, say, I do not know the unseen. I do not say that I know the unseen. وَلَا أَقُولُ لَكُمْ إِنِّي مَلَكٌ. Nor do I say to you that I am an angel. The Prophet ﷺ was commanded to deny what the intellects deem far-fetched, such as a human having possession of God's distribution of provisions, or knowing all of the unseen, or being an angel. Rather, he ﷺ claimed for himself what was true of many humans before him, which was prophethood. So, back in the day, when it was possible for a prophet to appear, then if you lived at a time when prophethood was possible, then when someone claims to be a prophet, you don't deny it, just by his mere claim only, because it's not impossible. It's not something impossible. Rather, you'd say, for example, you are a prophet. You look into his behaviors, look into his mannerisms. Ah, nah, you lie. Nah, you joke too much. Nah, yeah, you're not a prophet. But maybe he can't even hold that against him. You don't joke too much. You don't tell lies. What can I say about you? You're a prophet. What's your proof? So if he performs a miracle, then you're obligated to believe in him. Meaning what? Meaning that the claim of prophethood is not far-fetched. But after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, there is no new prophet. In attabi'u illa ma yuha ilay. In attabi'u illa ma yuha ilay. I do not follow but what was revealed to me. Yes, MashaAllah, that's so nice. I do not follow but what was revealed to me. That's what Prophet Muhammad is upon, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Be upon that, I remind myself. Just follow what the Prophet came with, alayhi salatu wasalam. Settle with the religious rules. You will be in good situation, inshallah. Don't settle with the norms of a society, with the standards of the society, and the rules that are not Islamic rules. Anything that's not Islamic rule, it's not valid. Say it's not valid. In attabi'u illa ma yuha ilay. I do not follow but what was revealed to me. That's what the Prophet was commanded to say. قُلْ هَلْ يَسْتَوِي الْأَعْمَى وَالْبَصِيرُ. Say, is the blind disbeliever equal to the sighted believer? أَفَلَا تَتَفَكَّرُونَ. Do you not ponder on that so that you may believe? Is the blind like the one who can see? He's not. وَأَنذِرْ بِهِ الَّذِينَ يَخَافُونَ أَن يُحْشَرُوا إِلَى رَبِّهِمْ. And O Muhammad, warn by the Quran those sinful believers who fear to be gathered for their Lord. لَيْسَ لَهُمْ مِن دُونِهِ وَلِيٌّ وَلَا شَفِيعٌ. Warned by the Quran those sinful believers who fear to be gathered for their Lord, not having besides him a defender nor an intercessor. Those are the Muslims who believe in the resurrection. However, they have been negligent in their practice. Yes, that's the case of the Muslim, even the sinner who's a believer. In his heart, he's afraid. Yani, even if he's mean, tough person, Muslim though, and he will be afraid of being punished by Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala. The kafir is the one who has no fear of God, has no fear of God. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Allah told us, إِنَّهُمْ كَانُوا لَا يَرْجُونَ حِسَابًا. They used to not be afraid of being judged. No kafir can claim that he fears God as long as he is not afraid of being judged. And as long as he is not willing to challenge his convictions, to put his convictions to the test. Being a strong, firm believer is not merely being stubborn about what you believe. There's a difference between the firm believer and the firm kafir. The firm believer, he's firm by the proofs, and the kafir, he's firm by stubbornness. لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ, so that they fear God and desist the bad deeds and do the good deeds. Concerning some poor Muslims like Bilal, Suhaib, and Ammar, the pagan leaders said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you would chase away these losers, we would sit with you. The nerve of those kuffar. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I am not the one to chase away the believers. So they said to him, give us a day and give them a day. So what are they? They are snobs. Some Muslims are snobs. And they wanted that to be documented. They said to him, give us a day and give them a day. And they wanted that to be documented. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam summoned Ali to write that down. Yani, he was going to do it. Why would he do that? Because he wants them to believe, not for anything against those believers. Then the poor Muslims got up and sat away from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And then this verse was revealed, so he discarded the document and went to the poor Muslims and hugged them. وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. And do not chase away those poor believers who call upon their Lord morning and late afternoon, desiring his wajh, meaning they are sincere in their worship. This is the meaning of their desiring his wajh. It is said, wajhullah, the wajh of Allah, with the meaning of seeking the higher status from him. If someone said, I did this for liwajhillah, for the wajh of Allah, it means for the acceptance of Allah, or for the sake of Allah, and out of compliance and in obedience to his command. وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. Do not chase away those who call upon their Lord morning and late afternoon, desiring his wajh. There's 3 yas right here in a row. وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ. Here, this ya has shadda, ashiyyi. Then the very next, that's 2 right there, 2 yas. Then the very next letter is a ya. وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ. ما عليك من حسابهم من شيء وما من حسابك عليهم من شيء. None of their judgment is upon you, Muhammad, in any way, nor is any of your judgment upon them in any way. Yani, why do you need to be away from them? You're not going to be responsible for any of their actions. And they are not going to be responsible for any of your actions. فَتَطْرُدَهُمْ فَتَكُونَ مِنَ الظَّالِمِينَ. So none of their judgment is on you in any way, Muhammad. nor is any of your judgment on them in any way, so that you should chase away the poor believers, and thus, yani, and therefore be among the unjust. What's that there? That's a lesson in loyalty. May Allah grant us that. And preferring the believers over the disbelievers. May Allah grant us that. I know some brothers, I want to say something here. I know some brothers, they feel strongly about their race, a love, feel strong love for their race. But let's say black brother or sister, they feel strongly about that. But if you have a white Muslim and a black kafir, who are you going to chase away and who are you going to be with? Are you going to chase? You better be with that white Muslim there. That one, he's your brother. He's your brother in creed. And that other one, he's not your brother just because he has the same complexion as you. If you think about the complexion of the skin like the voice, then, like, what if all of the people with bass voice and baritone voice decided that they want to gather together and make a brotherhood? The brotherhood of the bass voices. We need our own country. Yeah, what kind of thing is that to rally around? Because you have the same kind of voice? Is that what you rally around? Rally around having the same belief, same correct belief. As for any person, any Arab who's have something for Arabs and something against non-Arabs and anything else. I'm talking to Muslims here though. Any white Muslim who have something against black Muslims, lose all of that stuff. All that frivolous nonsense. Worthless, not religious. Has nothing to do with religion. But it's okay if a person loves his people, meaning he wants the best for them. That's fine. He wants the best for them. If they are kuffar, you can't love a kafir. But he wants the best even for a kafir. That's fine. And he hates to see his people in bad situation. But shouldn't we hate to see anybody in bad situation? I think so. It is true though, someone would have inclination for his kin over people who are not his kin. Or maybe he'd have an inclination for his own town over other than his own town. It's true, these things happen. Let the religion be what regulates these things for you, though. Let the religion regulate for you. Because maybe some feelings you might have without regulating them, they might go wrong. They might go awry. They might become extreme. They might grow wild. Might become like weeds, growing too wild. Got to regulate that by the religion. And likewise, might have wealthy Muslims. So they look down on Muslims who are not wealthy. They look down on poor Muslims. Wealthy Muslim might see a poor homeless Muslim, looks down on him like he's a scum. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. وَكَذَلِكَ. And also Noah said something similar to this. Because it was said to Noah alayhi salam, these people who claim to believe in you, they don't really believe in you. They only show you that they believe in you. And when they are away from you, they don't believe in you. So Noah said, I am not the one to chase the believers away. He means anyone who displays belief, then I am with him. I keep him with me. And I don't investigate his case to see if he's a believer or he's not a believer. If he displays to me that he is a believer, then I am with him. وكذلك فتنا بعضهم ببعض ليقولوا أهؤلاء من الله عليهم. Some Muslims, they would be snobs. Some Muslims are snobs. They might not think they are, though. It's going to be when they're in a certain situation. Yani, they might be like, seem like they are nice ones. They are maybe nice to some degree. Maybe they even give a sadaqah. They give charity. Maybe they help out also. And they wouldn't think they are snobs, but you put them in the right situation, because you call the right situation, then their snobbery is going to come out. May Allah protect us. Put them around the right people, their snobbery is going to come out. وَكَذَلِكَ فَتَنَّا بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ لِيَقُولُوا. And like that, by making those lowly poor ones superior to those rich nobles by faith, we test some of them, we test the rich by others, the poor. وَكَذَلِكَ فَتَنَّا بَعْضَهُمْ بِبَعْضٍ. Like that, we test some of them by others. We test the rich by the poor, by making those lowly poor ones superior to those wealthy ones who are considered nobles. In reality, these poor Muslims are better than them because of their faith. That's how Allah will test some of the slaves. يَقُولُوا أَهَؤُلَاءِ مَنَّ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِمْ مِنْ بَيْنِنَا. So that they say, are they those upon whom Allah has endowed from amongst us? Yani, they are the ones that God has endowed upon amongst us? Yani, we look at ourselves, we look at them. These ones, they are supposed to be better than us? They say, had it been any good, they would not have beaten us to it. They're not better than us. If this, whatever they were upon, if it were good, we would have already been on that. أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِأَعْلَمَ بِالشَّاكِرِينَ. Is Allah not most knowledgeable about the grateful? Allah knows who is most grateful to Him. وَإِذَا جَاءَكَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِآيَاتِنَا فَقُلْ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ. And when those who believe in our signs come to you, O Muhammad, then say to them, Salamun alaykum. Salamun alaykum. This is either a command to convey Allah's salam to them, or it is a command to initiate the salam to them as a greeting, honoring them and making their hearts happy. Yani, this salam is from whom? فَقُلْ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ. So the commander here is Allah, the one who's commanding for this salam to be given. And the one who's being commanded is the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam to convey a salam. Whose salam is this? So according to one tafsir, this is a salam from God Himself. Salamun alaykum. Say, O Muhammad, meaning from God. Say to the believers, Salamun alaykum. Peace be upon you from your Lord. That's a tafsir. And another tafsir is that this is the Prophet's salam. Allah commands him to give them a salam from himself, and thereby honoring them and making them delighted. Because one would be happy if the Prophet gave him a salam. Alayhi salatu wassalam. فَقُلْ سَلَامٌ عَلَيْكُمْ. Say to them, O Muhammad, Salamun alaykum. Peace be upon you. كَتَبَ رَبُّكُمْ عَلَى نَفْسِهِ الرَّحْمَةِ. Your Lord has taken it upon himself to have mercy. He promises mercy with an emphatic promise. Allah promised mercy to those who deserve it, and He is free from defaulting on His promise, from breaking His promise. أنه من عمل منكم سوءا بجهالة ثم تاب من بعده وأصلح فأنه غفور رحيم. وإذا جاءك الذين يؤمنون بآياتنا فقل سلام عليكم كتب ربكم على نفسه الرحمة أنه من عمل منكم سوءا بجهالة ثم تاب من بعده وأصلح فأنه غفور رحيم. ثم تاب من بعده وأصلح فأنه غفور رحيم. Your Lord has taken it upon himself to have mercy. What is that? What is this mercy of your Lord? أنه من عمل منكم سوءا بجهالة ثم تاب من بعده وأصلح. That his mercy is that whoever among you does bad in ignorance, and then he repented after that, and he redeemed himself. فَأَنَّهُ غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. Then surely He is forgiving, merciful. He does bad in ignorance. What's this ignorance here? The jahala. It is ignorance of the outcome of what he has engaged in. His ignorance of the outcome of what he has engaged in. Or meaning that he is deemed by his bad deed an ignorant one for preferring sin over obedience. Yani, jahala or jahl, ignorance, originally means lack of knowledge. But it can be used for misbehavior. Even in English, ignorance is used for misbehavior. When I first growing up, I didn't even know ignorance meant lack of knowledge. I thought ignorance meant misbehavior. I learned the original meaning of ignorance after I learned secondary meaning. That was the only way it used to be used. He's ignorant. He acts so ignorantly. He has bad behavior, bad manners. And so, what does it mean to do bad in ignorance? So, It could mean to do bad while ignorant of the outcome. So that happens a lot of times. Or could mean to do, uh, to have bad behavior. To have bad behavior. But as for not knowing that what you're doing is a sin, that's not enough to protect you from a sin. Because a sin does not require an intention. And also, it is said that a sinner is ignorant, uh, meaning like an ignorant person. It could be said a sinner is ignorant, meaning like an ignorant person. Why he's like an ignorant person? Because he acted like he doesn't know. He acted like he doesn't know. He acted like he doesn't know. If he knew and he was still sinful, then he acted like he doesn't know. So he's like he's ignorant. And since he's like he's ignorant, you can call him ignorant. من عمل منكم سوءا بجهالة ثم تاب. Whoever among you does bad in ignorance and then he repented. ثم تاب من بعده وأصلح. Then he repented after that and redeemed himself. فأنه غفور رحيم. Then surely he is forgiving, merciful. That's the mercy that he took it upon himself to have. That he forgives the sins and the ignorant behavior when one repents and redeems himself. Islam is the only correct religion. And Islam is the way someone can redeem himself. Whoever needs to redeem himself, he redeems himself by being an obedient Muslim. And this is the greatest way for redemption. What does redeem yourself mean? Means to fix your prior bad situation and to make your prior bad situation replaced by a consistently good situation. It's like means you changed your life, you changed your lifestyle, you changed your behavior, you changed your outlook, you became a better person. وكذلك نفصل الآيات ولتستبين سبيل المجرمين. And like that prior clarification, we diversify the verses so that the way of the criminals becomes clear. He makes the verses clearly describe the situation of the blasphemers, both those whose hearts have been stamped and sealed, and thus they shall never believe, and those whom it is hoped that they would embrace Islam. This surah exposes the kafir. It exposes his way. It exposes his reluctant behavior, his reluctance to accept the truth, and his inward admission to the truth in his privacy. Different spots of the Quran of this surah are mentioning that. His requesting miracles so that he could believe when really he doesn't want those miracles. If he were to get them, he still wouldn't believe. The fact that he is blind and deaf and does not comprehend, although you see him looking at you and he's blinking and he's listening to you and responding to you, you would think that he can see and hear and think and yani comprehend. This surah lifts the veil from them and gives the believer insight, and we still have so much more to go. Here. وَلِتَسْتَبِينَ سَبِيلُ الْمُجْرِمِينَ. And so that the way of the criminals, the kuffar, becomes clear, meaning so that Muhammad would clarify their methodology and treat each individual among them as is necessary. Going to treat each person as he needs to be treated. Wallahu a'lam. Any question?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
When in the ayah we said that they said give us a day and give them a day. A day for what? I didn't catch it.
Because the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was talking to them. So it means just a day to talk to us. You want to talk to us? They're saying to him, you want to talk to us? Then you're going to talk to us without these scum here, these low lives here. Then we'll talk to you. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them, I am not the one to chase the believers away. I will not chase them away. So they said to him, then give us a day and give them a day. We don't want to be in the same session with those people. So those snooty snobs, that's how they were. So the Prophet was going to give them some time. And then Allah revealed to him what means not to chase away the believers. Don't chase away those who are worshipping Allah Ta'ala. How Allah described them. وَلَا تَطْرُدِ الَّذِينَ يَدْعُونَ رَبَّهُمْ بِالْغَدَاةِ وَالْعَشِيِّ يُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَهُ. Don't chase away those poor believers who call upon their Lord morning and late afternoon for the sake of Allah. There is another ayah in Surat Al-Kahf similar to this. It means, O Muhammad, be with those who pray and those who worship Allah. Be with those. Align yourself with those. Put yourself in the company of those. And don't be desirous of the dunya. There's definitely a blessing in being amongst the believers. SubhanAllah. If there's no other question, then سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.